Good morning, everybody. Pearl Jam, Just Breathe. Is that a good one, Travis? Because I know you're a huge Pearl Jam fan.
No, it's a bad one.
I don't know, though.
No, of course it's a good one.
It's becoming one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs. Actually, one of my favorite songs in general.
I think it's one of his favorite songs.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me jump in. It's not one of my favorites, but I found it rather lovely.
You would love Pearl Jam.
I enjoyed that.
You did enjoy that?
I did. Yeah, I didn't know who it was.
I didn't mean to ignore you, but he is he is the big Pearl Jam. He loves Pearl Jam, and because of Travis, I'm going deeper into the catalog finally.
You should.
And that one, man, is I just love that song.
Yeah, it's a good song. He writes very good.
What album is that off?
That's off Backspacer.
Backspacer. What else is on that?
Got some.
Right.
Supersonic.
Right.
Another single. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Go listen to it and discover some more.
They're all good.
More Pearl Jam songs. He's got a great voice. People make fun of the voice that we certainly have on this channel, on this show, with the. But when he slows it down, especially.
Jay Moore's impression is one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah,
ever.
Absolutely. But in the end, he's a huge Pearl Jam fan as well. So. And I don't know, that song is just very, very nice with everything that's going on with Robin Williams. This Robin Williams thing is just... I watched a whole hour on it on ABC, and then they dragged Barbara Walters out. She's getting old, real old. But they had a lot of clips from her interview and when Diane Sawyer talked to him. And, yeah, there was a darkness there always.
Can you remember the last time the country was this miserable about, like, a not a 9/11 thing, but I mean, like, just a celebrity death. I can't remember the last time.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah, that's pretty big.
This is even bigger.
This is
Michael
different.
Jackson.
This feels different.
Probably Michael Jackson.
Maybe, but not Steve Jobs, because it was Steve
Jobs is pretty big, though.
The suicide angle is what is really hard for people.
Right, absolutely. No one saw this coming as far as, the public goes.
Yeah.
Everyone just thought he was this... Well, and he was a genius and a funny man and just filled with laughs. And certainly he had that dark side to him.
Yeah.
And he fought depression, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, he was, it seems like today, like, they're giving the media, now this is why the media is just fairly horrendous.
Garbage?
Yeah.
Just say it, garbage?
They're complaining that the coroner gave out too many details because a few people on Twitter didn't like it.
Right.
And it's like, what do you want? Like, the coroner was just up front. He's a loved guy. He died. And this is what happened.
Right.
They're telling you what happened because everybody wants to know what happened.
Right.
So they're answering the question. And I don't know why the media is saying, like, people are outraged that there was too many detail. What, are you trying to rope the coroner in with you because you're the guys that were hanging outside of his house with the fucking the cameras at ABC on a helicopter?
Right. But they say, but then they did exactly what they're complaining about. CNN just said, people are complaining about too many details, and then they had a whole package of all the details.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's better than sugarcoating it. I wonder if giving out the details maybe that helps people in a way. I don't know. Maybe it helps people that are going through the same thing. Maybe there's people out there that will see what Robin was going through and go, oh man, I got a family member that's going through that. Maybe I could try to get in there and try to work this out a little bit for the person. I don't know.
I also think it humanizes it to people. It's not just, when you hear details like that, it makes it a very real thing.
Right.
Like, when you hear like somebody, oh my God, so-and-so just hung himself. We've all heard that, but when you hear the specifics of it, the door closing, like that becomes like a real image. Like, fuck, man, that's an agonizing place to be.
And then you just can't put your head around it that a guy like Robin Williams with all the talent in the world, they're saying he had money problems, but I'm sure he had enough money.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that wasn't good enough. The fame and the money wasn't good enough. Because even if his money problems were really bad, right around the corner, he could have made just, a boatload of money just from his talent. His talent was still right there.
It's amazing, no matter who you are, you can be delusionally terrible and think that you're amazing, and you can be someone who's great and who has such an iconic thing and think that you're worthless. It's all your own perception. It's really hard to...
Right.
Like, who has the right perception of themselves?
Right.
Like, what person can we think of? All right, that person has the exact right view of them. Like, I don't know if I do. Like, do you or do you? Who knows?
Who knows is right. I mean, the front page of the New York Post. Robin's despair. Photo reveals misery. How does that photo?
It doesn't.
How does that photo reveal misery?
He was just politely taking a photo with a worker.
I saw that too, and like Radar called it like depressing photo.
Maybe he's sick of taking pictures every time he leaves the house. He went to a Dairy Queen, and he was nice because this woman was very excited, recognized Robin Williams, and said, "Hey, could we take a picture?" What does that reveal?
If they wanted a picture for the front page of the Post, I had a good one that I could have given when I was fat.
I saw that picture.
No, I didn't tweet it.
No, someone else then. There's a picture of you and Robin Williams that made the rounds yesterday on Twitter, and you were a bit, a bit young and a bit chubby.
That was probably me. I tweeted that one from the cellar. That one I actually liked. It was a cool one because
Yeah.
Oh no, I have one.
You got chubbier. But...
Oh, dude, it was brutal.
Oh, really?
Oh, fucking.
Can I see it?
Yeah, hold on. It was. I literally should tweet this and say Robin being kind to a whale.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen that picture before. I can't believe I don't remember you being that big anymore. How many years ago is that?
Oh, it's just.
I don't remember that.
I don't even know. That's. Well, we in 14, maybe 2006,
7?
6 or 7. Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Wow.
Oh, that was a doozy.
Robin Williams was gaunt, subdued, in haunting last image taken during summer rehab stay. See the disturbing photo.
I don't find that photo disturbing. He's just being polite.
Of course, that's Radar Online, right?
Yeah.
They just exaggerate everything.
Yeah, didn't they also post some other photo yesterday
Why don't they?
of him like at an AA meeting?
Oh, right.
They are the ones who did that. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, he was just, and they said that said a lot too. He was just sitting in an AA meeting.
For that one, I don't fault them as much because look, they're just a shitty media outlet. They don't have to respect the anonymity of anybody.
Right.
But whoever took a picture in the meeting like that is
just garbage,
scumbag, just a complete scumbag.
And you could tell it's a picture that was kind of snuck.
Yeah,
because it's not really framed properly or anything. That's somebody that just picked up their phone and took a shot from their fucking dick.
Yeah, what a total piece of shit.
But go back to that picture. And like I said, it's on the front page of the Post. It doesn't reveal anything.
No, I'm actually looking at this girl and going, she's cute.
Right. Maybe Robin was just tired that day.
Yeah.
And just wanted to get at some Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And what do you mean he's gaunt? He's thinner, but maybe he was trying to get himself in shape. Maybe he was trying to, do the right thing and live a healthy lifestyle. I don't see him gaunt in that picture.
I don't know. It's pretty disturbing.
He's 63 too, by the way. So,
yeah.
It's him without the makeup and the lights and the proper clothing and whatnot. And it was the picture was taken close to where he was in rehab. So what are they talking about? That just drives me nuts.
Yeah,
it doesn't reveal anything.
It's just looking for news.
He's being polite. You can tell by his body language. His hands are in front of him. He's just being polite. Like, sure, he knows that was a big part of his life, that he had to take a lot of pictures every day.
I have plenty of celebrity photos where they're just exactly like that.
Right.
And I don't find them to be disturbing.
No.
And he's giving a half smile, He's just like, yeah, sure, here. You want a picture? No problem. But I really just want my Dairy Queen, and I want to get out of here, so.
And just go home.
Right.
Yeah, that was in rehab. What kind of mood do you think people are going to be in when they're in rehab? Like, if they go out for an outing or something and they go to get out, they're not going to be thrilled. You're not in a great mood when you're there.
He's dressed casually, and, the picture's fine, is my point that I'll just say over and over again. The hanging details are rough.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of propped up, sitting, sort of, on his knee, on his knees.
Yeah, that's like one of those things where you think about when they said there was cut marks, and it's
that's from a pocket knife.
But that's like that manic state that people. I've been in that state, and it's like
you've cut yourself, Jimmy.
Not in any recent years, but I mean,
back in the day.
Oh
though.
yeah. But that whole kneeling and hanging and just to feel the pressure, I've absolutely done that. And
wait, you've done that?
Oh yeah. It's that's why it's not at all a weird detail. It's like that's the way you just want to see what it feels like, and then he was obviously committed to it. But in moments of depression where you can't just.
Wait, you've done that?
Oh yeah,
you've never told me that.
Yeah, I mean,
you just set up a belt or something.
Yeah, just in brief moments, knowing that it was going to go nowhere, bleeding. This is not some cry for help. I knew it was going.
Right.
But when you look at The Sopranos, at that last season when Bobby Cheech, I forget his name in the show, Gino, hangs himself and he's just struggling.
Right.
Like, I think that's what everybody's afraid of when they do it, was that a shot like that where he's trying to pull the rope off and he can't. That was a chilling fucking shot in The Sopranos. So, you know, sometimes you want to just feel what that pressure feels like. So you kneel and you feel it and you're like, yeah, it's unpleasant.
I'm certainly no better than you, but I never want to feel that pressure.
No.
That's what I don't get.
But it's
that would scare the hell out of me just to even set something up and go, well, let me just see what this feels like.
Yeah, it's not a rational thing you do. Sometimes in a weird moment of anger at yourself, you do it, and then it's like, that was dumb. It was nothing. See, it wasn't a lot like walking to the edge of the bridge. I'm only saying that was an interesting detail, and I didn't find that to be an unnecessary detail, because a lot of people, I guarantee you, have thought of that, and that just made it like, wow, that's that fucking headspace.
It kind of gives you a way out too, right?
Absolutely.
You could get out of that a lot easier than just hanging.
It's less painful too. I mean, not to encourage people to do that, but
if you keep going, then all of a sudden you pass out, and then you're done as well,
and then you've passed out
and forget it.
Yeah,
point of no return.
Yeah, then you can't undo it.
Right.
But he seemed to be, I don't know. I didn't know him intimately like that kind of headspace. Now, this is like the news just does what they do it, but now they have to find people to bring in and talk, and it's like, ugh.
I don't even care that the news does it, but be honest about it. Like they're saying, like people are disturbed by all the details that have been given out, and then they give all the details. Like they're saying, "Oh, look what these people did." No, you're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean.
So we just did it, but
we're a talk show. We'll also talk about Mike Bichetti's fucking scrotum sweat, and no one said we're not legitimate news,
right?
I don't mind them talking about it, like you said. If the people are honest about what they're doing, that's fine.
Well, that's why the picture is saying the photo reveals misery. You're just like reaching at this point. Someone gave you the last picture and you had to instead of just saying I think it's dramatic when someone dies and then that last picture comes out. It's kind of like you kind of want to look at it like, wow, this was the last picture taken of him alive. That's good enough, but then they have to slam it and make it even worse by saying photo reveals misery.
And that wasn't even the last photo of him. Someone sent out the last photo. It was some non-issue photo.
Right.
I actually, you can't feel better when someone does that, but I actually felt better when I found out that kneeling detail for some reason. I'm like, well, it wasn't a painful thing. It wasn't like he threw himself off a fucking balcony. I knew someone had hung himself off a balcony, off a stairwell balcony, like from the going up, and that image was like, ugh.
You saw it?
No,
oh, okay.
I just knew the guy. But I mean, that to me, I just kept thinking of how much that must have fucking hurt.
And you've known a lot of comics that have killed themselves.
Yeah, all the years. Most of them not famous. I mean, just guys that Florentine knows too. I mean, I called Jim the other night and just talked about it. And it was one girl he mentioned who I remember, but I didn't know her, so I didn't.
Were they guys that were just frustrated that their careers weren't taking off, or?
I don't know. I think some of them were frustrated that they weren't just getting any relief. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're performing it, like comedians have it easier than most people do. People who are depressed at home, it's like, you just got to go to your 9 to 5 that you fucking hate. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least we get to go on stage and, and spit it out and talk about it and kind of work through it in front of people and get some therapy back, which is, I mean, there's a lot of advantages we have that people don't.
Right.
And when guys, I think, weren't getting that, like these guys who weren't getting much work or they weren't very good, and this is years ago, these guys did this. I always felt like, wow, they just weren't getting anything. They were getting no relief, But I mean, I don't know exactly why. One was depressed over a family member. I don't know exactly what.
But you've known you said 8?
They're just comedians.
Eight comedians.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot more other people from other walks of life.
I believe I know like one. That's it.
Yeah.
One person. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is Robin Williams passing similar to when Elvis passed? That's what's.
I don't know about that.
Elvis was a biggie. Larry, why do you think that, Larry?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I mean, Elvis was such an icon, but it was a sudden death, just like Robin Williams. The suicide was a sudden thing. They didn't watch him go into decline physically and then expect the passing to come. I wondered if it is on par with an Elvis.
I don't think so. I think Elvis had an effect on people that's different. than any, like, musicians can have an effect that actors or comics or
Right.
Musicians just have an effect that people like that can never have, or people like us can. You just can't have that effect unless you're a musician.
And it would be easier to take if you knew it was like a car accident or like I don't know, a plane crash. You know, when it comes like this, you're like, wow, this could have been prevented, or maybe not. Maybe that's a stupid thing to say that could be prevented.
Just a thought. It's a natural thought, but I don't think so. I felt first thing I thought of when I heard it, like guys like Billy Crystal, guys that were really fucking close to him. Like, that's just a fucking horrendous phone call to get from people that you're intimate with, like, you know, who would think I should have known. You know, like, no, people who don't know you that well, they don't think I should have known. But fucking a guy you really knew, you're like, why? I must have missed that signal. And you start going over every interaction. That's just torture.
Your article on time.com was great.
Thank you.
The last line was brutal. Can we read it?
Yeah, I guess it's just embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. It was really good, Jimmy.
It's reading anything you've written out loud feels like.
No, you talk about, you know, comics and depression and Robin Williams, and then
yeah, it was great.
The last line was like, I think it's something that should be said on the show. Maybe it'll help someone out. I don't know. Snowy in Michigan. Snowy.
Hey, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning, Snowy.
Hey, I hate, you know, this might sound a little bit hack and cliche, and I apologize ahead of time, but maybe I think one of the reasons this one hits kind of close to home is because he plays so many beloved characters on TV and movies and everything else, and people kind of like almost associate themselves like they feel like they know him, or they, you know, like him, you know, they'd want to meet him and stuff like that. So I thought that's why I think this one kind of hits kind of close to home to a lot of people.
Sorry.
We've known him our whole lives.
Yeah.
I mean, Mork and Mindy was 79
or 80, right? Yeah, 79.
Yeah, something like that. 79.
Exactly.
And he's been famous ever since. He never really went away.
Never.
No, exactly. I grew up watching Mork and Mindy and so on and so forth, and so many movies I like. You know, you love them in and everything. It's just, and the fact that he committed suicide, that's what you said. If it's something like when George Carlin passed, and he was up there in age, that didn't really. I mean, it was shocking, but it was old. But to kill yourself and everything, and such a person who seems such a happy person, if anything good can come out of it, maybe they'll help. You know, people who have suicidal tendencies or depression, maybe they'll get help. Maybe their friends will, or maybe they'll help the mental illness in this country that can be, addressed.
I don't know. I'm thinking, people look on and go, God, if this guy can't figure it out, then
exactly.
What hope do I have?
But it also shows you too. I think one of the things when someone kills himself, instead, like you said, Carlin or even Pryor, who people love, but people were ready for Pryor to die because we felt bad seeing him like that. And Carlin was older.
Carlin was in his 70s already. So
yeah, and he
maybe had a few more years left in him. You wish, but
he had heart attacks.
Yeah, you understood that he was sort of near the end of his life.
It's easier when a guy in his 70s dies of a heart attack, drives himself to the hospital. Like that's an out we can all go, all right, that happens. You've been around all those years, you have a heart attack. But like, I think when someone does this, you're like, fuck, man, you watch a guy on TV and you think you know something about him, and you realize you never truly know what's going on in somebody's head, you really never do.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you said, if you find out he's not a happy person, I mean, the way he, on interviews and everything else, if he's not a happy guy, are any of us happy? I mean,
right.
Wow, it hurts a bit. I mean, it's what kind of thing. So,
all right, Snowy, thank you.
Guys.
Always a pleasure to hear from Snowy. Let's go to Mark in South Carolina. Mark.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I was calling actually to give my personal perspective. The whole thing kind of really hit home to me because everything that they described is something that happened to me about 6 months ago. The superficial cuts to the arms. And then I actually took a belt and went into our bathroom and started to hang myself. And if it wasn't for my wife breaking down the door, wondering where I was, the same thing would have happened to me.
So you didn't stop your hanging. It was her finding you? Were you passed out at that point?
I had blacked out, and she broke the door. And when the door broke, that's when the belt came from the door frame and I hit the floor. And I just remember her being over me, screaming and crying, and me waking up.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, but were you guys arguing first or no?
No, we had been having some issues. Actually, I had been having issues with depression, and started therapy, started taking meds, and that's when I also found out that I was a sex addict, which is something I had denied all my life, and then just kind of came to a head. And the reason that I did that is because I was hurting so bad. I just wanted relief. That's all. It's not that I wanted to die. I wanted to do anything. I just wanted the pain to stop. I just wanted relief. Now, cutting, like when they said that Robin Williams had superficial cuts on his arm, that's what really smacked me in the face, because that's exactly what I had done. Because being a cutter, you cut yourself to relieve pain because you're focusing on something else that hurts. And that didn't work for me. And that's when I took the next step of putting the belt around my neck. And I'm sure that's exactly what he was going through. He was feeling that pain, that overwhelming pain, and was trying to get some relief. And there's also the fact that people aren't putting in consideration, you're just saying it's depression, but it also could be a fact of a chemical imbalance in the brain that makes you depressed.
Right.
Now, I can say thank the good Lord that I've been going through therapy, that I started taking meds, and my life has completely did a 180, changed for the better. I understand and see what road took me down to where I was, and I'm sure, Jimmy, you can as well, because being an addict, that is a sense of losing control, where something else has control over you.
Sir, my life is one long act of joy and giving. I think only about others, and I feel like my life is just happy and meant to be here for you and other people.
Well, we know that. Matter of fact, my wife and I saw you when you came to Charlotte.
Oh, thank you very much.
I got a couple questions.
We loved it.
I got a couple questions. First of all, how long ago was that?
It was about 6 months ago.
And you're doing much better now?
Oh, yeah.
And,
a whole lot better.
And I'll go back to that in a second. And when you were hanging yourself, are you happy that she saved you?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Because I
have a 7-year-old daughter.
Right.
And that right there is something worth living for. But it wasn't, I'm thinking about what's worth living for. The only thing I was thinking of is I'm hurting inside so bad, I just want the pain to stop.
And what did you do to, make this whole situation better, where you feel like you got a better grasp on it?
What I did was I started therapy the next day. And actually 2 different therapists, 2 different counselors. And they also prescribed me Prozac 3 times a day, which helped with a chemical imbalance. But starting going over things, the big thing, I was a fireman for 20 plus years. I suffered PTSD. I got injured in a fire. And all the trauma from childhood and everything just kind of started coming into place, and then everything just piled up. And it wasn't until I got professional help where I could understood where I was coming from and what brought me to this position. That's when things started to change. Now, it took about a month, or actually 3 weeks, of going to counseling every day.
Sir, we have to move this along, not to be dicks.
I'm just too scared to hang up on
No, but we have to, because we have Rich and Bonnie outside, and, it's not that we don't care, but, we're going to depress people.
I just don't want to hang up on a guy and send him,
well, you know what?
Send him on another downward spiral.
What, buddy?
I said it would be an honor to be hung up by you guys.
No.
Thank you for the call, though.
You actually helped, I don't know.
Yes.
The bottom line is, don't get overwhelmed. Go seek help.
All right.
Thank you.
You're not alone, and you're not the only one.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Ironically, I think
All right.
a few people just drove off the road.
Yes, I believe you drove
Because
a lot
you're-
more people to the edge than you
Right,
believe.
because of your phone call. Let's go to Matt in New Jersey. Matt,
Yo, what's up, fellas? How you doing?
pretty good. What's going on?
Good, yeah. So I'd say about 10 years ago, I was in New York with my in-laws. They're from my brother-in-law is originally from Tennessee, and we were at the Sony store. It's around Christmas time, and I'm walking through this. Probably there's hardly any people in there. It's about 10:30 at night, and Robin Williams walks right the fuck by me. I'm like, I turn around, I go, holy shit, Robin Williams! It just kind of came out. He turned to me and he was like, nice to meet you. He put his hand out, shook my hand. He was the nicest guy you could ever imagine. I asked him to take a picture. He took a picture with us, right? We took this great picture. So now, move forward to now, all this shit happens. The guy obviously is all over Twitter, all over Facebook and everything else. I decided to put the picture up of myself and Robin Williams, and one of my asshole fucking Facebook friends writes this, ridiculously long paragraph on my Facebook about how Robin Williams looked so depressed in the picture, and he looked like he wanted to kill himself. And the fucking guy was, smiling and talking to us, having a great time. I think people are just fucking retarded.
Yeah, people are now going to look at every photo and go look, his lips are straighter as opposed to the curvature that you would have when you're happy.
Right.
It's like, Jesus Christ, it's just a photo.
And it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Critical. Yeah, why do you have to be so fucking critical about everything?
People are dumb.
That's the world we live in now. Everyone has to be critical of everything.
It's pretty fucking
But as soon as you are critical about them, then they lose their fucking minds. They want to be able to just, be critical about everybody around them. But as soon as you fucking, point the mirror at them, and then they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Fucking losers.
All right, fellas.
All right, brother.
Have a good one.
Wow. Andy in Georgia. Andy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
Hi, Andy.
I really, really grew up loving Robin Williams. Big fan. Huge loss. Really sad, but I got to be honest with you, man. I have lymphoma, and yesterday I'm sitting in a cancer hospital with pretty much everybody in the room either has cancer or with somebody that does. And on TV, it's playing the Robin Williams story over and over. And I got a little pissed off about it, I'm thinking about everybody that's in that room that just wants to live and fight to live, to be around for their family, and he just fucking checks out.
Yeah, I think your perspective is a little different. I used to think that too, that suicide and stuff was very selfish, especially for the people you leave behind. But then I started to think that, man, what dark place are they in that they can't even see that? Because it's so easy to see your family and how you want to be around for them. So what happens in your head where it gets so dark that you can't see that you should stay around for either your wife if you're in a good loving relationship, or your kids or something?
Yeah.
I get that, man. I really do. I mean, I get it, but I've been through tough times too, and I mean really, really dark times. But you got to hang on to something. You just got to.
You have to realize too. You have to realize too.
I've been around suicide too. Family members and some close friends, close family members, and there is some anger there. That what the fuck, man.
Yeah, I think that's normal to have, certainly, especially the position you're in right now.
This sucks, man. What a loss. I mean, he's a super, super guy. I don't think there's anybody that didn't love the guy.
Don't forget too, man. You never know how many years he held out. Who knows?
Right.
Again, I don't know him well enough, but you never. This might have been something that first occurred to him in 1980. I mean, who knows? I mean, sometimes you put something off because you have a family.
Right.
This may be something that he had thought of 1,000 times and just never done because of the family.
And maybe his kids were able to keep him going.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's hard to be around, man. Really.
Yeah,
is.
it sucks.
How's your treatment going, Andy?
It's actually going good.
All right.
So, I'm cool.
All right, good for you,
It just
brother.
hit me the wrong way yesterday. I'm looking around at all these people going, man, they're just fighting so hard to live,
Right.
and see that. I'm like, what the fuck, man? You just wish you could go back in time and slap him in the face and just wake up, man. It's going to be okay.
Right on. All right, Andy. Thank you, buddy.
All right, man.
Well, the violence is never the answer, Andy. Guy who takes every statement too seriously. Andy, you should never slap people. Folks, if listening.
Every time I hear about someone killing themselves, I always go back to that phone call we had from the guy that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. An unbelievable story. And we asked him, we're like, what was your thought as soon as you jumped? And he said, I'm paraphrasing, I wish I didn't do this.
Yep.
He realized right away it was a stupid and dumb idea. And in his case, he's lucky enough to tell the people that.
Yeah, he's able to he committed to it.
Right.
You don't jump off the fucking Golden Gate Bridge and not expect to die.
Right.
That's pretty.
It's extremely rare you survive that.
Yeah.
And we had him on the phone, and I like to think that most people are thinking that exact thing when they decide, they're going to kill themselves, and then they right away go, oh, fuck, what am I doing?
Yeah. What the fuck? Why was that?
I don't know, but I would like to think that, and maybe that helps people too. The guy jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a guy that's like, no, I'm doing this. And as soon as he did it, he said to himself, fuck, this is a dumb idea.
You know what helped people too? If someone could tell Dog the Bounty Hunter what an ass he's making out of himself, can somebody get to Dog and tell him to stop injecting himself into the hunt?
He's a bounty hunter.
What's going on with the Dog?
Oh, on Twitter?
Yeah.
The fact that he's tweeting the same thing over. I'm embarrassed for him.
What is he tweeting?
Get a hold of yourself.
What is he tweeting? We need some lofts today.
He's gonna catch War Machine.
I'm glad that we have Rich Voss in here.
And Bonnie, yeah.
Because Rich has no emotions whatsoever. So
not at all.
It'll be a fun day with Rich and Bonnie.
Bonnie and the Lizard Man are coming in.
Right.
Well, at least Dog's taking
the dried up soccer player. Fucking Pete Rose. I love Pete Rose. I can't wait for him to come back. What is he doing?
Well, he's on the hunt for War Machine.
War Machine is the MMA fighter.
Yes,
not a UFC fighter.
He was a UFC fighter.
He was a UFC fighter?
Yeah.
Okay. Because when you think MMA, you think UFC right away.
Yep.
And sometimes that isn't a connection.
Yeah. He allegedly beat his porn star girlfriend nearly
Christy
to death.
Mack.
Christy Mack.
And
yeah.
he's on the lam.
He's on the lam.
So
running from the cops.
Dog Bounty Hunter on Twitter is on the case.
Well, there's a $10,000 reward.
Right.
And, Dog's a bounty hunter.
Right.
So,
but he's tweeting. He's coming. That's the way a bounty hunter usually does it. Announce it on Twitter.
Yeah,
that you're there.
And I'm glad that he's not doing it for publicity. Like, he's not ending or beginning all of his tweets with hashtag CMT Dog and Beth.
Let me tell you something. If what this guy did to the porn star, that's horrible and not right, obviously.
Yeah.
But I hope Dog the Bounty Hunter finds this guy
So do I.
and he gets choked out and thrown over a cliff.
I hope Dog gets beat up and then the cops arrest the guy.
Exactly. That would be a perfect scenario.
No one beats up Dog.
That would be a perfect scenario.
This guy would smash Dog in a fucking. This guy's a legitimate fucking. If
you don't know Dog.
And he's not. This guy's not playing. So if he sees Dog the Bounty Hunter with this publicity stunt that he's doing, I really do hope he chokes him out.
Dog has a gun.
Dog gave him 24 hours.
Oh, he gave him 24 hours, did he?
Time is up. Beware of the dog, he says.
Beware of the dog.
Yeah.
I think we should tell Dog that he's making a bit of an ass out of himself.
Yes. Do we have his
Dog,
phone number?
You're being an ass.
I don't think we ever had him
You don't
on.
have to hashtag your show while chasing a guy who beat his fucking girlfriend near to death.
Right. It's a horrible story, obviously.
Did you see the photos?
Oh, yeah.
They were fucking
Horrible
horrendous,
story.
man.
Yeah.
That's your worst nightmare as a guy. You go home with a girl. Like, I don't know who the guy was. I think this guy knew him.
Right.
But if that's what happened, if he really did.
What are the details?
From what I've read, from her account, and I haven't heard his account, was that they went home, she was with some guy. They broke up in May. Her and War Machine dated. And I remember asking people about Christy Mack, and someone's like, you would love this girl. And I was like, I would love to fucking, not that I had a shot with her, but they're like, don't talk to her. She's got a maniac boyfriend.
Can I jump in for a second? When you start seeing a new girl, you obviously want to know, who their boyfriend was and stuff. And then when you find out, it's some accountant. Oh, okay. You kind of have a weird sigh of relief. But in this case, when she tells the new guy, oh, my ex-boyfriend is War Machine, the fear that guy must have felt just in general.
Here's how the conversation.
You don't want your chick's ex to be named War Machine.
His name was what? That's what he's saying. Excuse me? War Machine with what? His favorite show? Oh, his name. What's he do? He fights.
I remember when I was in college, I fell in love with this girl, and then, checking on her and who she used to date, and it was the star quarterback from the high school football team, and I'm just like, oh, God, what am I doing? I can't compete with that shit. Imagine competing with War Machine.
Well, they came home, and I guess they were dressed. They weren't fucking, I don't think, and War Machine, his real name is John, I think, they said he beat the guy up, but the guy got away. I guess the guy wasn't that dedicated to his new girlfriend because he did what I would have done, which was scram.
Yeah.
I would have run too. A maniac like that coming after you. And he beat her fucking so bad. And again, I have to say alleged because I don't, for legal reasons, we can't say it's true until they prove it. But she fucking poor girl, man. She had teeth knocked out, 18 bones broken, or
nose broken.
Two places in her fucking nose. Her cheeks are smashed. Her leg is like he kicked her leg, or whoever beat her up kicked her leg, and
fractured ribs, severely ruptured liver.
The liver, right?
So he had a problem with her moving on.
Yeah, I think they broke up in May, and it's just it seems to me like it's this fucking typical scumbag jilted ex thing.
He seems very delusional because he tweeted afterwards that he had gone over there to propose to her, and he seems to think that if that guy wasn't there, they'd be happily engaged.
Well, that also seems like a damage control tweet.
Right.
That was my first impression when I read it. Like, and again, we have to keep saying if he did it.
Right.
That seemed like a damage control tweet. Like, hey, I had no idea. Like, I'm trying to reach out, but not even able to say I didn't do it. Mm-hmm. Trying to word it legally properly. It's like,
I went to surprise my girlfriend, help her set up her show, and give her an engagement ring, and ended up fighting for my life. The cops will never give me fair play, never believe me, still deciding what to do, but at the end of the day, it's all just heartbreaking. I only wish that man hadn't been there and that Christy and I would be happily engaged. I don't know why I'm so cursed. One day, truth.
All about himself. This fucking girl's got her teeth knocked out and her fucking bones broken. Ugh.
Amazing.
Ugh.
And now he's got dog.
On his case.
Right on his case.
And the dog is just tweeting over and over again?
Yeah, well, he's
what are the last few tweets from I gotta read. This guy I've never liked. He's so douchey. I know he has a big fan base, but he's so douchey.
Last tweet?
Yeah.
Starts with hashtag CMT Dog and Beth. At War Machine 170. Time is up. Beware of the dog.
All right. Great.
What a fucking idiot.
Who, War Machine? I know.
No, he's actually
and then
he's less of an idiot.
And then he's retweeting his fans. I'm glad Dog Bounty Hunt. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all.
Stop disrespecting the boss.
I'm glad Dog Bounty Hunter is out and gonna find War Machine. Hope it ends soon and no one else gets hurt.
Yeah.
Good blessing to you.
Yuck. Good blessing to you. What are you, a fucking pirate? What does that mean?
Way to make it about yourself there,
we should
Dog.
see if Dog's doing press about this.
Yeah, all right. Let's get him on the phone.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the phone.
Because I know that he retweeted a few interviews about this. So
we can get him on. Where's Roland? Is Roland in?
Yeah.
All right, we want to talk to Dog the Bounty Hunter today.
Absolutely.
Please, make that happen. I got one more phone call here. Tim in New York. This is crazy. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
First, let me say I'm kind of nervous calling in, but just talking about the subject. 3 years, it'll be 3 years in September. I got married, beautiful woman, fell in love, spent really 5 years, both of us professional military officers, gorgeous woman, got me into triathlons, running marathons. We got married on a Saturday. Next day, she took off, went to a hotel and committed suicide.
The day after your wedding?
The day after my wedding, and it actually was my birthday, too.
Jesus.
Believe it or not.
Was it? Did she regret getting married, or was it like something? I mean, I don't even know what to ask on that.
No, honestly, Jimmy, looking back at it now, I found some stuff, that she had written in the past. The first thing I did was within the next, first couple of weeks, I got in contact with a therapist because I knew damn well that, all the shit that I've gone through, 22 years in the military, I can't handle this by myself, and so I checked in with a therapist, and looking back at it, we really think that she was bipolar. But she always lived on the mania side because, this chick would go and go and go and go. And she used to take pride in, she would drive me nuts. She'd have tasks all over the city, and have 2 hours to get them done. And she would take pride in trying to get all those tasks done, She always wanted to push for something more, very highly respected. She was really great in her career field. And, I think we can only thing we surmise is that the wedding was perfect. We had family. She's got 3 grown kids. The wedding was almost too much, brought her to a high, and that night we were back in the hotel after the wedding. We had hung out, we drank, we had a great time. And I found her in the bathroom crying at like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So I go into the bathroom and she's like sobbing, wailing like somebody's dead. And, confronted her and said, hey, what's the problem? How can you be upset? And she just really lost it. And then she went into almost a rage. And at that point, I'm still kind of drunk from the wedding. And, I said, we're not going to deal with this now. Let's just go to bed. Wow. So I actually passed out on the floor. Last thing I remember was she covered me up with a blanket on the floor. About 7:30 the next morning, I got up. She was sitting in bed. She was already dressed. She looked at me, and the last words she said to me is, do you want to go home? And I said, yeah, let's go home. So we drove home not too far from where we actually had the wedding, back to the house. I went downstairs. I got a split-level colonial house, went into the bathroom downstairs to take a piss. And in the time it took for me to go take a piss, she had gone upstairs, got my revolver out of the room, and was pulling out of the garage. And that was the last time I found her.
Jesus.
What the hell?
And the only way we found her was by tracking the GPS in the car.
Right.
This was a woman that had everything. You look at people say they look at Robin Williams, they go, how can a guy like this,
of course,
who had everything, get to that point? The fact of the matter is, a lot of people that do have bipolar, especially if they're living in that mania side, they are A-type personalities. They're very successful. They're always out there. They're, whether internally they are or not. But, I've been reading all this shit on Facebook of all these prophets that think they know what the hell's going on. And, and in reality, you don't, and the one thing that I've come to struggle with is, part of my job in the military is saving lives and also taking lives. But, I've got troops that I command. And it was hard for me to say, how can I lose this one? How can I lose the most important troop in my life, being my wife, who, like you guys were talking about earlier, I knew her better than anybody else. And I've never been so connected to somebody in my life like her and I were. I actually flew from Afghanistan to Kyrgyzstan to see her before she left. She was deployed at the same time I was, and I never saw it. There's things looking back now, you can say, yeah, maybe that was a manic rage, but she was an A-type dominant personality. She was strong, she was beautiful, she was powerful. You don't look at it that way. Looking at it back now, yeah, maybe that was a sign, but, you're not going to cause it. You can't, me arguing with her wouldn't be the cause of it, and you're not going to stop it, and unfortunately, if they want to do it, we talk about all this crap with the signs and the symbols, and of course in the military, we all get to take classes on looking at symbols and signs. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it, unfortunately, and it's terrible to think, but, here's a person who had everything in the world. I mean, we were making great money, the boats, the cars, successful careers, just got married, greatest day of your life, and, I got a death certificate before I got a marriage certificate in the mail.
That's an unbelievable story. Did with her being in the military, did that have anything to do with her issues?
Yeah, she had PTSD?
Right.
No, I don't honestly, where she was when she was deployed, I don't think it was a PTSD thing. I think there was some stuff from her past, maybe. I know for a fact that her mother had some issues. And I don't want to say it's a PTSD thing because I don't think that's it. And I think that too many people today climb onto that PTSD bandwagon as an excuse, but it's an unfortunate thing, and what I've been struggling with is, reading a lot of stuff online about Robin Williams, which, it hit me hard, and, a month from now will be 3-year anniversary for me. There's not a lot of stuff out there for the survivors, and how do you cope as a survivor and the things that you go through, so I've been really struggling trying to put together thoughts to actually write a book from a no shit perspective, not some clinical perspective. So some doctor who's giving you the bullshit diagnosis of what PTSD or what suicide and bipolar and all that kind of crap. But no shit, a real version of, okay, this is what happens. This is what, this is how it sucks. This is I lived in a bottle of Jim Beam for about 4 months after the suicide. Those are the stages, and from a real perspective for a survivor, because there's nothing out there. It's all this clinical bullshit. But for a guy, and again, I consider myself to be a strong guy, 22 years Air Force officer. But I tell you what, man, I've never
ever, been dealt with something like this, and to try to be able to survive it and get through it, from the survivor perspective, that's the worst freaking part about it.
Right. Wow. That is a hell of a story. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Unbelievable. How's your life now?
It's good. Honestly, this last couple of, first 2 years, I was kind of in a bad spot, as you would expect. And earlier this year, it was kind of like a couple things kind of clicked, and I got kind of focused again. I've got a girlfriend, but it's still hard. My relationship didn't end because of a divorce.
Of course.
I wasn't pissed off. It was, no shit from, I got married at 5:30 on a Saturday, and I found out she was dead at almost, she'd killed herself at 6:30 Sunday night. So 25 hours later, you go from being, the king to the fucking pauper the next day. And, I didn't even know if we were legally married,
That's unbelievable. How many years ago was that?
That'll be 3 years in September.
Yeah, you said that. Okay, I do remember that. Wow. All right, Tim. Thanks for, thanks for sharing. That's a big one.
Hey, honestly, it's the first time I've shared it with anybody really publicly, and I'll tell you guys, over the last couple of years, listen to you guys. I got you in my office here. I listen to you guys every morning. Just having you guys make me laugh in the morning, no shit, has gotten me through some hard times, and I appreciate that. And hey, Jimmy, I'll be seeing you in Syracuse here. I got tickets for the Thursday night show, so I'll see you in Syracuse.
Thanks, man, very much.
Yeah, we're very warm people. I think people feel like they could talk to us. Right, Jimmy?
People tell me, Jim, they say that whenever I see you, my heart opens up.
My heart opens up, and I feel like I could tell you anything.
My mom has that weird effect on people. Like people just tell my mother shit. It's a really bizarre effect she has on people.
That.
People just like her and tell her stuff.
She's a nice lady.
But then meanwhile, my mother goes on Twitter and she's like, "Listen to what this jizz bucket said." My mother's awful.
She's on Twitter.
No, I'm totally kidding. Of course.
Sorry, you never know these days. Thanks,
your
buddy.
Personality's lined right up with mine, so if I can't talk, I don't want to talk to some soft foo-foo bullshit shrink who's going to blow smoke at my ass. I'd rather hear no shit, hard hitting facts and reality. Well, but just like you guys, I'm right in line. So it's easier to talk to you than it is to go talk to some soft shrink.
With that said, Jimmy's doing his advice show today, right? Jimmy?
Yeah, not to be confused with my Vice show, which also comes out today. It's a very confusing day, Wednesday.
It sure is. We got to change the name of the radio show.
The radio show, how about from now on? Jim Norton's helping hour of attempting to try to focus things. How's that?
Did you make that into a promo?
Yeah. Jim's helping hour of trying to focus things and be helpful.
Sam, that's the promo and the name of the show. Let's drive Troy Kwan nuts trying to figure that one out. What time today?
1 p.m., I think.
1 p.m. on this channel, Jimmy does his advice show.
And the show on Vice.com comes today, and Attell is the guest, but Voss, who's here today, was on the show with Sherrod, and he did a fucking hilarious piece him and Sherrod did, out Man on the Street thing. Voss was great.
Nice. And we're going to have Voss and Bonnie in next. Thank you, Tim, once again. A lot of phone calls coming in. I don't know. Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you, buddy.
Maybe we'll go back to this topic. A lot of people have a lot to say about Robin Williams and what they're going through personally. So I want to play the Jimmy Fallon thing, but Sam just left the studio as we go to break here.
Let's have somebody get Sam
Jimmy
in here.
Fallon is just a good, solid dude.
Yeah,
he's a. I shouldn't say dude. He's a good, solid man, and he did a nice little piece on Robin Williams. I guess it would be a couple nights ago now. We want to play the Jimmy Fallon thing. Do you have that queued up? This is how Jimmy Fallon handled the news about Robin Williams as we go to break. Check it out.
But before we get into the show, we, like all of you, were shaken up a bit last night when we learned that genius comedian and actor Robin Williams passed away. He was one of a kind. He's one in a million. He's like unbelievable. If you ever saw this guy stand up, you wouldn't even, if you don't know stand up, you should YouTube it right now and just watch it. He's just amazing. He was funny, and he was fast, and he would weave in and out of characters. He would get Shakespearean. He would just get into like, oh yes, thank you, yes. Then there's a guy sitting at home going, what the hell is going on there? Yes. Then there's a kid going, no further way. Yes. Then he's like Martha Graham, and ball and chain and kick and ball. Yes, thank you. And you'd watch him, and you would cry laughing, and you would think, I'm never going to see anyone like this human ever. It's just amazing. His brain was always thinking 10 steps ahead of what he was saying. He was like the Muhammad Ali of comedy. For a taste of the divine madness of Robin Williams, here's a clip of Robin's first ever Tonight Show appearance with Johnny Carson.
But yet a man who will know himself, but yet not touch himself.
What is that from? Was that Midsummer Night's Dream or what?
That's from the self-abuse soliloquy. And yet a man will know, and yet look, vile fool, come thee hither. No! Thou hast forced me to wear designer jeans for no reason. I will walk now, and cameramen shall be going, where's he going now? Where am I now? Oh, look. Oh, this thing's broken. Look, no. Japanese people go, whoa, believe. Hello, bless you. Bless you. Give me your hand. Don't be afraid. Men can touch men. All right, sir. My God, look up there. Look, Jean-Claude Keely for Jimmy Dean Pure Pork Sausage. It's wonderful, man. There's so many people up there. What's happening, brother? There's people up there going,
Hi! We waited 3 hours. Where are you?
Oops, there's a cameraman trying to... Let's really make the cameraman mad now. No.
Go on up. Go on up.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, you will be missed.
In case you missed it, recently this happened.
What's your guilty pleasure, Florentine?
I don't know.
Like just something you have to like.
All right, yeah.
Taffy? Do you like taffy on the Atlantic City Boardwalk? A nice box of saltwater taffy.
Oh yeah, taffy.
You bring it back.
Terrible.
You go to a casino. Let's bring something home for mom. A nice box of
well,
taffy.
if you want to bring it for your mom, yeah.
But what if you want to get it for the ride home? Make the road trip a little bit fun. Saltwater taffy is the best.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You don't like saltwater taffy?
No. Different flavors, mint and
you
peanut
know what?
butter and
I can't remember because the last time I ate it was when I was 6. So it was over 40 years ago. So I can't give you an answer on it.
And next time you go to Trump's, you walk out on the boardwalk and you get a box.
What's your guilty pleasure though? Like maybe an Oreo or a little ice cream at night. What do you got?
I'll eat an ice cream cake if there's a birthday. I'll have a piece of ice cream cake.
You have so many restrictions on delicious foods.
I've never had a sweet tooth even as a kid. Like I never had I need candy. I need all that shit.
You don't have a favorite cookie?
No, I've never really. I used to eat Oreos with milk when I was a kid, but.
That's it.
I never really had a big sweet tooth, though. Even like regular cake, I won't eat regular cake. If it's ice cream cake, I'll have a piece
I'm just imagining
for a birthday. I'll have it like 4 times a year, ice cream cake.
I imagine you as a kid just becoming disenfranchised with Oreos as you're eating them. You're like, what are we really doing here, though? It's just, it's not that good of a cookie. Jim, you're 6. He's like, I don't know if I can get behind these cookies anymore.
But Jim, you're 6, and he's going, I'm not 2.
I ate that when I was 2.
I enjoyed these when I was crawling. I'm a walking kid now.
I'm already an adult. Not a diapers, for Christ's sake.
Want more? Get the show on demand now at SiriusXM.com/on-demand. Sirius 206, XM 103. The guys, the show, whatever it is, are back.
Fuck you and your stupid oatmeal. That's how we start.
Oh, you and your dumb oatmeal.
Boy, easy, guys.
Look at your oatmeal.
My oatmeal's good.
Your oatmeal, first of all.
My oatmeal's good. It's I'm not a big Starbucks guy. I think Starbucks sucks for real.
Yeah.
Because I just like coffee, and their coffee is not good at all.
It's too strong.
It used to be really good, but then when they expanded their business, I'm not sure, they started using, a lesser bean for their coffee.
How did they
knowing that
expand
most
their
people
business?
go in there and just get the syrups and sugars, so they don't really need a good coffee bean. I'm telling you, Starbucks coffee sucks.
It's too strong.
But
you got to say, in my opinion.
In my opinion,
No, you know that's a weakness when you say that.
No, that's legally when you go. In my opinion, you could
But you
say
think
whatever you want.
Starbucks is going to sue over this conversation?
What he's saying, he thinks the coffee sucks. That's you can say.
I said I think they're using a lesser bean. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I didn't realize that.
But when Starbucks first hit and they didn't have a lot of stores, you got a real nice cup of coffee in there. And now you don't because everyone throws all that syrup and shit in it.
Dunkin' Donuts has the best coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts coffee blows.
No, Norton blows. Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
D&D's coffee is horrible as well. McDonald's coffee, horrible as well.
She likes 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven coffee is very good.
I don't like 7-Eleven coffee.
Wawa coffee, very good.
Yeah.
It's because they use a good water.
What?
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven uses good water, although their coffee is ridiculously hot, and you got to let it sit probably for 20 minutes before you can start sipping it.
I don't like coffee.
But Starbucks has a very good oatmeal as
Look
well.
how dry that oatmeal looks.
I know you said like Bonnie's pussy,
No, I wasn't
which was
gonna
not
say that.
nice.
No, Bonnie.
Can I just point out one more time? That's a slam against yourself.
Yeah,
What?
because
You can't get me excited.
right.
So my pussy's dry.
So that's why you and drool. Okay, I pounded
It's
you
we
last
come
night.
full circle.
You
Please
pounded-
don't. Please don't.
How did I
You
fucking
pounded
pound
her last night?
I don't want people to know that
I fucking.
I thought you were walking a little funny this morning.
I mean, it was
What do
like.
you mean you pounded her?
Like sometimes
But
we have
I
sex.
saw him we were leaving a stand-up New York last night, and I saw him gesturing to some comics, and there was a little bit of a high five, and the door opened, and I heard the guy go, "He's gonna get some tonight." Like you were telling them
I was-
that you're gonna fuck your wife.
No, I was
You were
telling
showing
them-
him the blue
No,
pill.
see,
and
that's
stuff.
when you're
It's
wrong.
embarrassing.
How old are you?
I know.
That's like
What a
That's
jerk.
No, that's where you're wrong. I'm saying I was
My friend, when I was standing there, were like, "What is he doing?"
I believe Bonnie.
No,
I'm
listen,
sorry. I
Did
don't
you
even
finger
need
her in the car
Can I
too? You
say-
fucking creep.
Listen, I said to him.
we don't do that kind of foreplay.
I said to him, I got to take this blue pill now so I can fuck my wife when we get back to the
so
hotel.
I can fuck my wife.
I mean, have make love.
Why do you need to tell people?
What?
Why do you need to tell people?
Something came up and then I had one in my pocket.
Yeah, you said I gotta fuck my wife.
Well, because we
You're
planned it.
bragging about getting your wife in bed.
Exactly.
No, well, I just want to be like all the